Good morning to people in Australia and good evening to people in North America. This is Danish, and we are doing weekly chart review for major indices, starting with S&P 500 futures. This is something we should be cautious about. We are going up in a rising wedge, which will hopefully result in a pullback, if not a big one, a small one. But a pullback is expected. And if I put this on a weekly chart right here, we are still in a rising wedge. And if we see where it might end up in the week to come, we may actually come down to fill this gap in absolute worst case scenario. So if it comes down to fill this gap at 401015 level, you should be cautious because everything else will follow the pattern. If we look at NASDAQ, now that gives a little different perspective. NASDAQ is a big bull and it just came back to the neckline here of this V bottom, if you will. This is not even in fact a V bottom, this is more of a U shape recovery, but this is at the neckline. So at this neckline of 13,750 level, we may expect some resistance for the first couple of days, hence the pullback on ES. But if NASDAQ keeps pushing up from here at 13,750, and if it starts taking support here, and if we see at the daily, we should see some, yeah, it's taking support right here. This particular candle on Thursday took resistance, face resistance at 13,750, and Friday was taking support at 13,750. So if we continue this support trend, this would eventually push ES upwards. So this is bullish right now. Let's go to Russell quickly. I know a lot of people trade in TNAs here, so the Russell is still continuing in the consolidation phase. A perfect box right here. And I expect this to continue in this sideways trend until end of April to May, until it hits this green zone in this channel. So once it gets to the middle of this channel, we start trending upwards. But until then, it's just going sideways. It was too hot all this while. Went up too high too soon, and now we just consolidate. Something similar to what happened here. We went up too high too soon and then consolidated for a really long time here. So this is something, on a bigger picture, if you see here, it's like a high base on a weekly and then another high base on a weekly, which will eventually end up in a bull run again. Going to Dow Jones. Dow Jones is again behaving like ES, very bullish right now. But this is also forming a rising wedge, if you will. And this will also follow a similar pattern as ES. So 2 out of 4 major indices are forming a rising wedge, whereas one is going sideways and one is going bullish. So the end result will be most of the stocks will be all over the place. So I won't be surprised for option sellers to make a boatload of money in the week to come. Quickly going to XJO, that's Australian Securities Exchange. We are going trying to get back into the channel here this week. So the current week will most likely be a doji or a red week, because if it goes up here, it will face resistance at 7,101. And at the bottom, it may take support at this black line of this channel. But this is also a very a crucial stage, because once it crosses 7,197, that was all-time high in Australia back in February 2020. Then we start the next phase of bull run. That will be the measured move all the way from 7,197 to 4,400. So almost 3,000 point up from once it crosses 7,197. So this is the next big move that will start after this phase. Going to Nifty quickly for people who invest in India. The Nifty is consolidating below this resistance of 15,173, 15,267. And actually this may keep on, if this trend continues, we may continue in this trend until May 17th, coinciding with Russell this time. End of May, April, beginning of May, consolidation because of these strong resistance levels. Once it crosses up here, above here, it's again in a high base formation on weekly, maybe even monthly, it may form a high base. Yeah, this is forming a high base on a month. Two dojis sitting right next to each other become very strong support / resistance of their own. So this is a good sign that we are not going down. This is just consolidating for last 2 months. And when such thing happens, when indices consolidate for few weeks to months, the bull run is very strong, like we saw in case of Russell here. It consolidated for a very long time, long after ES had started going up. It consolidated for 3 months, and then we shot up like a rocket. So that's it for me. You may unmute your mic and feel free to ask any questions that you may have.
So you don't seem very confident about